Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hague. How you doing today? Okay, this is the year 2024. I don't know which year you're listening. This is June and it is hot outside. So if you see me sweating here, so please forgive me, but I'm trying to make the best at what I can. So question for you guys. Do your parents ever embarrass you? Well, duh. Of course they do. That's what parents do. Well, there's a difference between playful embarrassment. Like, for instance, my son tells me that I embarrass him a lot, which kind of makes me smile because I like to embarrass him, and I like to embarrass my students as well. I do silly TikTok posts, and I do Instagram posts, and sometimes I just jokingly behave in the classroom or at the home, just because I'm a fun guy and I like to be fun for my students. And, as long as it's not causing any harm, I see no problem with that. But never, ever do I cause a scene and that's the topic of this podcast here. Embarrassing in the opposite way, in the negative way. So it involves embarrassment from a parent's overreaction to something that causes an altercation or a scene. I mean, we hear stories of parents attacking teachers, parents attacking officials, parents attacking coaches, parents attacking people who are supposed to teach and train kids, whether it's in sports or school. Now, let's take a strange case here, okay? Imagine being a kid and you're playing baseball, okay? And you're up at bat and you're waiting for the pitch to come in. All right, the umpire calls strike three on a questionable pitch. And then you look up at the ump and you're like, what the heck? That pitch was nowhere near the strike zone. What are you talking about? Okay, then you walk back to the dugout, your head hanging low, you're a little embarrassed, you don't want to face your coach and your teammates, they're all looking at you. And all of a sudden, you hear a commotion. You look back at the home plate, and it's your dad attacking an umpire. How would you feel? I would imagine that most kids would experience a shock of their lives. At that point, you'll see parents charging in, you'll see other coaches coming in, maybe even some players coming in. It becomes a mess. Or how about another scenario where you're a regular student, you're sitting in class, you get back an exam, and you see that you failed. Okay, you're devastated. You studied hard, you thought you did well, and you try to understand the content, but you failed. You text your mom, Mom, I failed. She failed me. The teacher failed me. No, the teacher didn't fail you. You failed you. But anyways, let's continue with the story. In 20 minutes, your mom storms into the class, cussing at the teacher for failing you. And this is in front of your classmates. What do? I'll tell you one thing for sure. Those video phones will be coming out, recording everything. You're going to be an internet sensation. You'll be a social media sensation. You'll be the talk of the semester for sure. Same thing with the baseball scenario. You'll be the talk of the town. I mean, if I were that ump, I personally would fight like crazy. What the heck? You're attacking me, I'm defending myself. Then, of course, I would tell the league to cut that player from the team and from the league, ban that dad from ever attending any more games. Then I'd call my lawyer. Yep. And as far as that crazy mom entering the class, I'd be ticked off at the office for allowing this crazy person into my class without a pass or letting me know ahead of time. But if that were to ever happen, I'd just call the police. And then I'd get a restraining order against the mom. I'd also then call the counseling office and get that student out of my class. Well, hate to say it, folks, both are true stories. That's right. It actually happened. And it happens quite frequently, unfortunately. Parents attacking coaches, parents attacking teachers, parents attacking... Sometimes the parents even attack the opposing players. I mean, you see this in wrestling matches where a wrestling mom didn't like her son being thrown to the mat, and all of a sudden she comes out and attacks the opposing player, which kind of is not very smart if you're going against a wrestling opponent. But then there's a case, here's 3 important cases. There's a case of Coach Shaq Lattimore, a youth recreational football coach in St. Louis. He was shot 4 times by a disgruntled father who was pissed off that his son was not a starter. Yeah, shot. Can you imagine how scary that might have been for everyone involved? I mean, you have people running away. The end result, of course, was that the entire season for that football team was canceled. The shooter, well, he's in jail, obviously, hopefully, and hopefully for a long time. He was charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Okay, that's good. Then we got another winner here by the name of George Aponte Gonzalez, who was attending his son's baseball game in North Florida. He got upset because the umpire issued an unsportsmanlike conduct against his son. Unsportsmanlike conduct against this man. Well, you wonder how this kid learned to be such a prick. Yeah, you wonder where he learned how to be unsportsmanlike. So the father, Gonzalez, after the game approached the umpire, a disabled U.S. veteran, and sucker punched him in front of all the ball players. Well, then the crowd comes in, the players come in, they run after, they separate the guy from the umpire, and all chaos broke loose. Well, he was arrested, rightly so, and banned from ever attending any more city games, rightly so. And I'm hoping, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm hoping that his son is also banned from ever playing any more games. Yeah, you might say, oh, well, what did the son do? Well, the son did cause a problem, unsportsmanlike. I mean, he was the trigger. I mean, look at this picture here. Look at this picture if you're watching on YouTube. Look at the smirk on this guy's face. I mean, he shows absolutely zero remorse, and that's the scary part, that he does not see any wrong in what he did. And most of these people have a skewed, demented thought that if they don't attack, they're not protecting their kids. Well, here's one story that really, really got me. It's about a parent by the name of Matthew Eddy, whose daughter attended, I think it's called Baraboo High School. Baraboo, I'm not sure which. Baraboo High School, located in Wisconsin. So anyways, his daughter went there for 4 years. Supposedly, she's been in the principal's office and had some disciplinary problems. In fact, she was once actually considered for expulsion. Well, during the daughter's graduation ceremony, students, they line up and they go up on stage. They get their diplomas, they shake hands with the board members, and of course with the superintendent. And the superintendent for this particular district is a gentleman by the name of Dr. Rainey Briggs, who just so happens to be black. Why do I say that? Okay, hold on. The story gets a little bit better. Just as the female student, Eddie's daughter, just as she was about to shake the hand of this superintendent, her father, Matthew Eddy, charges up on stage, shoves the superintendent Briggs to keep him from shaking his daughter's hand. I mean, he just look at this video. Look what he did. He had no hesitancy. He didn't even think a thought. He just walked up there and said, "You're not touching my daughter at all." He walked up on stage in front of a crowd of 225 students, 3,000 guests, all eyes looking up. Look at the embarrassment on his daughter's face. I mean, you talk about ruining the moment. Not only for the daughter, but for the entire student body. This incident is what they will remember the most. All the students, especially, I mean, you can't, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, that daughter may never be able to show that footage again because it's going to have her crazy ass father going up to the stage and attacking a superintendent. I mean, after 4 years of study, give the students their moment. Couldn't you wait? I mean, just tell your daughter, don't shake hands with this dude. It all boils down to this alpha male who could not keep himself from making an ass of himself, not only in front of the crowd, but before the entire nation. Because this video you're watching, oh, it went viral. It went viral like crazy. It was also shown in many news outlets all over the country, all over the world, actually. And it drew a storm of criticism calling him out. Now, some say that because Eddie is white and Dr. Briggs is black, that action was racially motivated. I can understand why people would think that because Dr. Briggs was the only black person on the stage. But I don't know about that. I really don't. I think Eddie legitimately had a gripe against him. I see where people would say that because I cannot pronounce this thing, Baraboo High School is also famous for a picture where a bunch of predominantly white male students saluting the Nazi sign, laughing, thinking it's funny. Look at this. What a bunch of idiots. Look at them. Just saluting the Nazi sign, thinking it's funny. And the guy who took the picture said, oh, well, no, he was just telling them to wave goodbye. Yeah, I see exactly how you wave goodbye. You stick your hand straight up. How many people say goodbye like that? So, no, going back to the Eddie situation, I don't think it's motivated by racism. But I certainly think it's motivated by stupidity. Anyways, Mr. Eddie was arrested for disorderly conduct. He was led away by police. Superintendent Briggs then filed and was granted a restraining order. Sentencing, I believe, is pending, coming up sometime in August. But, I can't imagine this poor teenage girl must have been so, whoa, what are you doing, Dad? I don't want to give out her name, but I would be pretty certain that she may not have any more social media accounts. Her friends would be talking about it for months. Wow. Whew. So, these incidences I just mentioned, well, parents, you embarrass yourself. Okay, your kids and your families. That was just plain dumb. And don't forget, teachers are fighting back. And you also don't know what the teachers are made out of. Okay. I, for instance, take karate. Okay. I will defend myself. And I will take legal action. And I know that teachers want to kind of let the situation die a little bit, but I hope they don't. You need to press charges. You need to take it to the limit, to take it as far as possible, okay, against these parents. They assaulted you. And they're breaking the rules. They need to be taught a lesson. Okay, obviously lessons they never learned when they were in schools themselves. What these parents need is counseling. Perhaps a little bit of anger management classes. If you're at a game or if you're monitoring your kid's performance in school and you feel your blood pressure is rising, pressing up against your hearts, pressing up against your veins, leave. Go out for a walk. Come back later. Talk to somebody. Talk to friends. Go on social media and say, hey, this is what's happening. What do you recommend I do? You'll get a lot of advice. What are you so uptight about? One of the number one reasons why parents are so uptight about seeing their kids play or getting more playing time, they all have dreams of seeing their kids playing for the Major League Baseball or maybe the NFL or the NBA, and for the little girls, the WNBA, maybe even the Olympics. I mean, look, if that is the case, the chances of your kid not playing, well, I don't see that, okay? The main reason why your kid is probably not playing because maybe he just plain sucks. He's not good. Or maybe he slacks off during practice. Or maybe he's got a mouth. He's giving the coach some attitude. I wouldn't play anybody if they gave me some attitude or if they're not skilled. Or maybe because you, the parents, are forcing him to play when your kid doesn't really want to. So he just takes it easy. He doesn't have any enthusiasm. I mean, when I was a Little League baseball coach, the first thing I told the parents is, well, you better behave yourselves. Okay? We're here to have fun. Everybody plays. Regardless of skill levels, everybody play. And if you think I'm here to help your kids reach the major league level, you got the wrong coach. That's not what I'm here for. Call up the main office, ask them to move your kid to a different team where the coach there shares your vision. And believe me, there's a lot of coaches who would love to have a player that makes it to the major leagues or pro football or basketball or the Olympics or whatever the case may be, okay? I'm just as proud if one of my students makes it to Harvard or Stanford or USC or just plain has a good life, has a good career. I mean, for those of you who have young kids under 15, you don't need to worry. There are no scouts in these games, okay? No scout wastes time going to Little League or youth football games. There's no recruitment being done. Unless the kid has unbelievable physical gifts, like he could be 6'5" and he just turned 10 years old, or he can run the 40-yard dash in like 3 seconds. I mean, unless they got those gifts, the chances are, you're not going to see any scout. Okay, you're just gonna be recording the game, filming it, and hopefully one day, maybe if he makes waves and he's on the paper a lot, maybe he'll get some sort of attention. But for 99.9% of the time, and I am not underestimating, 99.9% of the time, the game your kid is playing in is pretty insignificant. It's the college level where most athletes get looked at. And unless you're in the top 5% of high school athletes that make it to a Division I school, I mean D1, Division I, Penn State, USC, UCLA, Washington, where they have about, 80 to 90,000 people filling in a stadium. But unless it's a D1, the chances of you making the pros pretty much slim to none. And if you do happen to make it into the Division I NCAA, your chances of making it to the professional leagues is less than 2%. Okay? I mean, how often time you see a Heisman Trophy winner, they don't even get drafted by an NFL team. Or, somebody's a first-round draft choice, in 2 years he's gone. You see that a lot. Okay? So it's a whole different case here, making it to professional sports. And it goes with everything. It goes with baseball. It goes with basketball. It goes anything. You got to keep proving yourself. Okay? There are many different eyes, many different people, many different variables that decide how far a student will go. And even if your student is the best at the team, best in that league, hitting home runs, scoring touchdowns, all that, I got news for you. There's about 1,000 others just like him in the nation ready for the same shot. Okay? So, parents, chill out. Leave the coaches alone. Let them coach. If your kid is being benched, there is a reason. But whatever that reason is, do you think attacking coaches is going to get him to start? Do you think that attacking an umpire is going to make him a better umpire? Or do you think that writing stuff against teachers in social media or bad mouthing them is going to, get them to improve? Barging into my classroom, throwing tantrums, and asking me? That is my biggest pet peeves when parents come up to me, why is my student failing? Well, ask him. Ask her. Why are they failing? I mean, I got, of the 30-some kids in my class, 20 of them are getting either an A or B. I don't know. You ask him why he's failing. What is he doing that other people... I mean, I can tell him what he's doing in my classroom. It's just described in one word. Nothing. He's not doing anything. Writing me nasty emails, threatening me, or attacking is not going to change me. Just a warning. Teachers are fighting back. Okay? Just a warning. Teachers are fighting back. Society is getting less tolerant of these vigilante parents who can't control themselves. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay? I mean, we all live life. Okay? We all live in reality. I'm a parent too. And no doubt there'll be some jerk coaches. There'll be some jerk teachers. I had bad calls made by officials myself. I mean, people make mistakes. I didn't like my son's 5th grade teacher. She was one of the worst I've ever seen. But that's life. Jerks exist. I had to deal with them. You have to deal with them. Your kids are going to have to deal with them growing up. It's just the world we live in. We pay for other people's mistake, and that's just the way it is. But instead of attacking, how about working with your kid and help them hone their skills? How about talking with the coaches and asking them, what will it take for my kid to get into the starting lineup so that he could contribute to the team? Or how about just parents get a change of attitude? You're there to have fun. You're here to grow. Your students are there to grow. They're there to learn. They're there to learn teamwork, which is an essential learning skill, an essential, what do they call soft skill for the real world. If you're good enough to be the next Patrick Mahomes or a Nobel Prize winner, that energy will carry you there. Focus on the journey. That's right. Focus on the journey, not the destination. Let the destination take care of itself. Sometimes the destination, imagine you're driving across country, you start in LA, and you want to reach New York, but you know what? Chicago looks pretty darn good. I think I'm going to stay here for a while. You never know. I mean, there's lots of athletes at the caliber of Patrick Mahomes who are now working for UPS. There are lots of geniuses who end up, as high school teachers. I'm just kidding about the high school part. We're all very caring people. But parents, please, don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass your kids. Your behavior will do more damage to your kids and the kids around him. Okay? I mean, look at this opportunity to get close to your kid. Find him or her coaching outside of the team. And if it's a student academically, find a tutor. Talk to the teacher. Work with the coaches. That's what they really want. They want to work. I would love it if I worked with my parents more than I am right now. At any rate, so be cool. Okay? Enjoy the game. This is Mr. Hague. Over and out.